Hello everyone, this is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen. Hello, everybody. How are we today? How are we today? Let's see, we got the likes up. Go ahead and share the video if you can, because we have something that we are going to be discussing at length until I think everybody's got the point. Hey Ebo, hey UFO. So typically I would give people some time to get in here, but that could take a little minute. Hey Damon, hey 30 Below. Thank you, Damon. So what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it. Give me 1 second. So, hey Nas. So, here's what we're going to be speaking about, because we're going to start talking about the value of women. But we're going to be doing it in a little bit different way. You know how we do it on a Crimson Cure? There's always a different way to look at things. So that's what we're going to explore. Just a different way to look at this situation with women. Because many times in this sector, we hear a lot about how women only have one value, right? One area that men look for, or that they need, or that they want out of women. And typically that has to do with her sexual value. Okay. And we hear a lot of proponents for so-called tricking and all these other things that support that concept and support that idea. Now, every time I see that expressed, I challenge it. But there's a reason why a lot of men feel that way. And it has to do with the women. See, ladies, we can't expect men to see a value that we ourselves do not promote. And so to answer the inquiry, as it were, or the title of this live stream, the main reason no one can see women's value is because the women themselves do not present a value other than their sexuality. And on the whole, we live in a culture that celebrates women's sexual natures in all the most negative ways, highlighting a woman's sexual nature to the detriment of highlighting what could be her other positive attributes actually reduces her down to what she can do in the bedroom with a man. Hey, Father's Time. Hey, Malika. It actually reduces her down to what she can do in the bedroom. And so once she presents only her sexual value to a man, or men in general, then this is the value that men will see. And this is what they will latch on to. And we can have women who deny that they who will deny that they support this, but we can see that they do, because if we just take a look at recently Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP song and video, and that has actually been celebrated by women. It's been celebrated. Particularly BWs have celebrated and defended those two women's right to make such a song and make such a video and promote such concepts. And they're not the only ones. The City Girls and a host of other female entertainment personalities, whether they're in the music industry or whether they're on reality television or wherever you may find them. BWs often support the most superficial and base activities of women. And because that has been protected or is defended by women, well, I like the song. Well, it's got a nice beat, and there's nothing wrong with her saying that, and there's nothing wrong. We can't justify defending that, but also not want men to see us in this very promiscuous light. The two simply just don't mix. So the main reason that men can't see the value is because women do not promote a value beyond what they can do in the bedroom. And the reason why they don't promote anything beyond what they can do in the bedroom mainly is because women do not understand their own value. Women do not know their purposes, neither their value. See, it's impossible to know your value if you don't know your purpose, because a thing's value is in its functionality. And if you don't understand your purpose, then you can't understand how you're supposed to function. Did everyone follow that? Did everyone follow that? I'm going to repeat that. Women do not understand their value because they do not understand their purpose. A thing's value can be found in its functionality. But if you are unaware of your purpose, then you are also unaware of how you are supposed to function. And this is one of the primary issues with women today. The vast majority of women, not just BWs, but the vast majority of women are feminist leaning or hardcore feminists. And as such, they have been taught a backwards view of themselves and what their purposes are. They've been taught it and they teach it and promote it. It's even taught and promoted in academia via gender studies classes and the like. Okay? So women growing up, even as little girls, are not taught the purpose of them in general in the world. Now, what we have to understand is not to get mixed up our purpose versus our activities. Okay? Because your activities are not always your purpose. I drive Uber for a living, but that is not my purpose. I was not brought into this world to drive an Uber, right? That's just my activity. It's something that I do for money, right? To survive. But that is not the purpose of my being. Okay? That is simply something I'm able to do. So as women, what we have to understand is that our work is not our purpose. The job is not your purpose. Getting money is not your purpose. And for those women who would object to that, let's examine it. The way that women think and the way that we behave, for those women who are able to procure higher earning jobs, what industries do you build with the money that you procure from those higher earning jobs. I'm going to take a sip of water while you think about it. What industries do women in general who earn high five figures like 70,000 and above, or six figures 100,000 or more? What industry do women build? Which industries aside from sex work do women thrive in this country? Because when the economy tightened around COVID-19, the amount of accounts created for OnlyFans shot up to the point where OnlyFans was not opening any more accounts. This is adult work. This is adult sex work. No matter if you're getting on there just calling yourself not doing anything overtly sexual or whatever, this is the sex work industry that you have entered into. So when the economy straightened, I did not see higher earning and highly educated women opening pathways to create revenue that went back into the economy. I didn't see it. So that isn't your purpose, because when it is called for you to innovate in this manner, you don't do it. You don't even think to do it. Men, on the other hand, begin to innovate. What business can be created? What avenue is now open? When these avenues have closed, and trust and believe our economy will not go back to what it was before. This has terraformed our economic landscape from here on out, right? So men who were leading in their respective industries innovated and began to open new pathways on how to reinvigorate the economy, if not widespread, at least for themselves. There were many men whose businesses boomed during a time where other people were losing. See, men have industries and women have jobs. And most of the jobs that women had were non-essential. So many women were furloughed. Why am I going into this? This is to demonstrate that your job is not your purpose. Because if earning high money, getting higher education was the purpose of women, you would innovate in the same manner and at pretty much the same rate that men do in your respective fields. So that is not your purpose. Let's move away from business. When you do earn a decent amount of money, who benefits from that money aside from herself? Who benefits from that? Aside from her and possibly any children that she may have. Does her extended family benefit from that? If she begins to earn highly, a six-figure annual income, is she expected to buy homes and cars or co-sign and pay for the other people in her family to benefit from her money and her hard work? No. Because women, once they get money, they do not become producers. They become better consumers. They become better consumers, not better producers. So when she goes to get her job to make $150,000 a year, only she and her immediate family benefit, meaning her children. If she has a husband, he does not even benefit from this money. Hey, Third Ward, and thank you. He doesn't even benefit from this money because she doesn't see any need to take care of him. Women who earn a high amount of money are looking for men who earn that amount or more, because she actually wants him to continue to take care of her, even though she has the monetary ability to take care of herself. She never thinks, let me get a man who makes less than I do, and because I make $150 and he makes $65,000 a year, I'll just take care of him and we can live off of the money that I procure. So she never thinks about that. As a matter of fact, that is distasteful to her. Okay? That concept is just as distasteful to the woman who makes $150,000 a year as it is to the woman who makes $35,000 a year. Okay. Father's Time said something important, said which is why companies cater to them and have to remove the man because he would stop her from being a mindless consumer. Exactly. Okay, so women become better consumers, not better producers. So this is not your purpose. The other day I spoke about the purpose of women. The purpose of women in general is men. That is our purpose. They are our purpose. They are our purpose. Everything about us, from our psychological makeup to our physical makeup to our emotional output, is designed for men, family, hearth, and home. That is what we are designed for. All of these other things are simply a product of living in a modern society. Because if we were not living in a modern society, these things would not even be a question. So what I'm going to do is, I've been here for 20 minutes. No one's going to hit the Cash App or the Super Chat. I'll just take a sip of water and we can pause. How you guys doing today? We're going to support our interests or not. There are 63 viewers. There are 38 likes. Thank you, Father's Time. How you guys doing today? We can switch the topic if you don't like this topic. And we can just chit chat for about 5 minutes before I cut it off. Thank you, Iba Sosa. So I think my situation is a bit different. My wife now makes more than me, but when we met, I made more. She took a year off to up her education while I handled things. Yeah, and then you seem to have history in a good relationship with a woman that has her head on her shoulders. So your situation might actually be unique. And thank you for the contribution. Thank you, Risa, for the Cash App, and thank you, Mogul, for the Cash App. Hey, James. So, continuing on. What was I saying? So she becomes a better consumer, correct? Hey, Chemical JDZ. Been a long time. How you feeling? So she becomes a better consumer. Okay. Thank you, Malcolm. And you're welcome. No one benefits from her earning power except for her and consumer-based businesses. When a woman starts making money, she starts to think about a higher grade of purse and clothes and shoes that she can purchase for herself. Thank you, Chemical. That's what she begins to think about. Because her mind is this way, she also judges a man's wealth on whether or not he has better clothing, car, jewelry, watches, and things of that nature. It doesn't occur to her to keep her money in her pocket once she makes it and to reinvest it into things that will turn her a profit. She doesn't think about that. Even when women are entrepreneurs, they're earning, if their businesses begin to turn profits, no one benefits off of that except for them. Usually they make businesses that cater to the consumption of women. So a woman's purpose is not all of these things. These are new constructs because of the society that we live in now. We live in a society that caters to women's desires and things of that nature. So she's able to be a consumer. She's able to earn and then not have to produce in the same society that she's consuming from. And she approaches everything in her life this way, particularly relationships with men, where she consumes something from him, but she does not produce anything inside of that relationship. And this is another reason why men can't see value, because they can't see what you produce. When you talk to men in this sector that are anti-marriage, the first thing that they say is that she consumes. Some of them might be thinking in a concrete sort of way. Give me just a moment. Is it buffering for you guys? Is it still doing that? Is it still buffering? Is it buffering for you guys? Actually, it's not OBS. Doesn't seem to be dropping any frames. I keep a close eye on frames. And it still doesn't. Is reverb in the mic now? I don't. Let's see. Is that better? Is the mic better? Hey, A Shy, and you're welcome. Is everything better? Put a 1 in the chat if the sound and the visual is good now, please. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we can continue. Just a little hiccup. Thank you, Superman Strong. Is that who you are? So, what was I saying? I don't like losing my train of thought. Superman Strong Coach. Okay. Thank you. So when men in this sector who are anti-marriage speak about it, they don't see any production. They only see consumption. And they're not wrong in that, because the majority of today's women do not believe in producing in the relationship. They only believe in consuming within it. They only believe in what the man is able to do for her, but she doesn't consider what she should be doing for him. The vast majority of women, due to socialization, due to being raised underneath a gynocracy, are led to believe that her mere presence is of benefit to him. This couldn't be further from the truth. Okay? Your mere presence benefiting him could not be further from the truth. Okay? Your presence on its own does not benefit men, particularly if you are not feminine, you are not helpful, you are not beneficial, you are not cooperative, and you are not submissive, and if you don't know the meaning of being help, if you don't know the meaning of being of service. Thank you, Force Windu said peace to Crimson Cure into the chat. Just jumped on. Cook and I'll eat. Will do. Your presence alone is not a benefit to him. He can go to the grocery store and be in the presence of women. That doesn't make a benefit to him. Many times, without the proper application of your femininity, feminine energy can drain a man quickly. Okay? So being in the house with him doesn't benefit him, especially if you are not following the mission statement of that household. Having children does not benefit him, especially if you are not rearing and raising his legacy according to the mission statement of the family. So everything that you do with and around him that are not in tandem and coinciding with the mission statement of his life and his purpose is not beneficial to him. It is a detriment to him. Which is why he doesn't mind if you leave. And I'll sip my water on that. Having children for him that are not actually his legacy is a detriment to him. Children are legacies to men in two ways. First, they are his bloodline. So they are the product of his body. Secondly, they should be the product of his mind via you. Children are only a man's legacy if they fulfill two criteria. One, they are his physical production. They are his bloodline. They carry his blood. Number two, they are the product of his mind via you. So what I mean by that is he is not taking the day-to-day rearing of that child, particularly within their formative years. However, if he has given you the marching orders and the layout as to how he wants his family to be constructed and how he wants his children to be educated and to be reared and what he wants to put into them, that's your job as the mother and the wife to perform that, to raise his children to his satisfaction. Then they fulfill being his legacy. But before we can get to that, we have to begin to cultivate within your mind that the children are not your property to use as a pawn in the game of manipulation of their father. I said a mouthful. Before we get to that, we have to get the understanding and cultivate in your mind that the children are not your property to use and manipulate and use as pawns in the game of gaslighting and manipulating their father. See, we got to get that out of your head. Father's Time says she is of no value to him if she cannot follow his mission and pass that culture to the children. And that's very important, because what a lot of women fail to realize is that they are in relationships having children, passing a culture to their children that has nothing to do with their father. You're passing on another man's culture to your children, not the culture of their fathers. Because in your mind, the children do not belong to him, they belong to you. And this is where the error occurs in your thinking. The children do not belong to you. When I say the children don't belong to the mothers, I don't mean physically. Obviously, physically they belong to you. You share them physically because you had them. You're pregnant with them. You birth them. That is a process that men cannot do. So your physical bond with that child cannot be denied. However, they do not solely belong to you. You share them physically, yes. But what you don't share is what they are to do and how they are to think and how they're to be educated. That is the mission statement of their father and your husband. And this should not be a foreign concept, because you're supposed to be on that mission. You signed up for it, so therefore you should be believing in it, and therefore it should be no issue with you passing on these things to the children, because his mission is also your mission and it's theirs. But that's not how you operate. Because all of what I just said, you do not even know, neither do you believe, and you have a visceral emotional reaction to that without any logical cause, which means it's programming. Any feminist within the sound of my voice is probably having an aneurysm at this moment. Good. Hopefully that bursts the feminist blood vessels in your brain and replaces them with your purpose. Because I assure you, you don't understand it. Because if you understood your purpose, you would understand your function, and you don't. And I know that you don't understand your function because you don't function properly. See, men would be much more tolerant of things like a woman's emotional output, her chaos sometimes, if you functioned properly. If he actually could receive benefit from you, those other things he might be willing to overlook more readily. But he can't, because not only are you coming with chaos, you do not come with benefit. So you're a bad deal. And intelligent men don't make bad deals. Not on purpose, they don't. Not knowingly, they don't. Thank you, Dead Set. 88 views, 75 likes. Y'all want me to pause and take another sip of water? Because I like my water. I need my water. This is a nice big old cup of be quiet because you're not really hungry. Okay. So men are not very forgiving of you nowadays because you're a bad deal. You think you're a good deal, but only you think that. See, it doesn't matter what you think. It only matters what he thinks. Because I come here to tell you that I was a good wife to my late husband. You've heard me say that. I was a good wife to him. I was a good wife to him. I was a good wife to him. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know why I say I was a good wife to him. I say I was a good wife, and Father Time hit it on the head because he told me I was a good wife to him. And the reason why my opinion of that is null and void and his opinion of that is the only one that matters is because he was the one experiencing me as a wife, not me. I wasn't married to myself. He was married to me. So only his opinion of how I was behaving and performing as a wife mattered. Because I could be doing anything and be like, yeah, I'm a good wife. Who says? You or him. Just like I told you guys the other day. I know for a fact that one black man passed away from this world, a happy man. And the reason that I know it is because a few hours before he passed away, he told me that he was happy with me as his wife. He told me that out of his mouth hours before he left this world. He assured me that I had been good to him and that he had been pleased with my performance as a wife. And we had ups and downs like any other couple. Nothing perfect going on. I'm not a perfect woman. I have my own brand of chaos that I bring because I'm a woman and I'm going to bring some chaos. It's just the way it is. That's in light of any strife or arguments we might have had. That's in light of any time he might have been particularly displeased on a specific situation. For him, the good well outweighed the bad. It wasn't equal in his eyes. So when I come here to say I was a good wife to him, that's not because I say so. So, ladies, you have yourselves to blame that men see you as a bad deal because you've been a bad deal. You only consume in these relationships. You don't produce in them. Now, what are you supposed to produce? What are you supposed to produce? If you're a lady in here, press a 1. I want to see how many ladies are here. See, we got Shirley. I see Risa. I see Jean. Eve. Okay. So we got a few ladies in the building. For the ladies in the building, list out a couple of things of what you think women in general are supposed to be producing in a relationship. Thank you, Ronan, for the Cash App. What do you think you're supposed to be producing within a healthy relationship or marriage? Shirley said love and children. We got any other support, submission, love, understanding? Okay, so we had a couple of ladies that took a stab at it. Pretty good stab. One of the things that we are to be producing in a relationship is peace and contentment. Peace and contentment, they go hand in hand. We are to be producing that. Understand when I've said before that femininity is abstract, and about a good 90 to 95% of what women produce is abstract. It is not concrete. We are to be producing, number one, peace and contentment in our immediate area, meaning our home, and extended area, meaning wherever we go. Because without peace and contentment, other things are not able to grow properly. Peace and contentment is the soil and the fertile ground that everything else grows from. Because we cannot produce an area filled with chaotic energy or negative energy, because nothing but chaos produces chaos. Okay? And also, chaos is the default. So we actually have to produce peace and contentment, which comes with order. Order we do not produce. The order we submit to. The order is the structure. We don't produce that. That is a masculine production. We only submit to that. But underneath it, we produce the energy that powers it. And that energy must always be under order, peace, and contentment. After that, the only physical thing we produce in a relationship is children. And earlier I gave you the 2 criteria that children have to meet in order to actually be a benefit to him and his legacy. The other thing that you produce as a woman in your relationship is the groundwork of insight. You lay foundations for insight. Your ability to analyze a situation with the knowledge of who you are, who your husband is, and varying other factors should give you the ability to produce insightful commentary and support. So at those times when he invites you into the war room while he's making a decision and he asks you for your insight, you need to have a viable answer. If you find yourself always speechless when he asks for your earnest, insightful input, you have work to do. There are times where you don't know, and that's okay. But that should not be the majority of time, because submission is not ignorance. If he asks your input and your insight, you shouldn't be one of those ladies that's like, I don't know, whatever you want to do. That doesn't work. This is not of benefit to him, because you are supposed to be the one that has his six. What he misses, you receive. And sometimes he is going to miss the emotional nuance of a situation or person, because men lead with logic and reason, which makes them pragmatic. Not to say that they don't have any emotional intelligence, but many times when they're in problem-solving mode, that doesn't come into significant play. He knows that. An intelligent leader understands that he might have missed that. This is why he's asking you for insight. Okay? This is why he's asking you. He's not asking you to lead him. He's asking you to advise him in an area that is not his wheelhouse. He might be practically capable of it, but you are to be the expert in it. That is your wheelhouse. And he is asking for you to lend your expertise, which is emotional intelligence and insight, into his decision making to ensure that he isn't missing a critical and vital piece of information that would, if it's missing, makes him err in his problem solving. Are we understanding this? Not losing you, am I? Father Time said, Cook, this is vital to our community. Women must know their value. You have to. Because they don't. They don't. I know that they don't. The other thing that women are to be producing, and I'm probably going to create a list of these things. The other thing that women are to be producing in marital situations and relationships with their husbands. I lost it just that fast. I hate Gemini chatter sometimes. It's like the two people talk and one will overtalk the other one. I hate the way my brain works sometimes. Please forgive me. Say your dad's forcing you to watch this, you're only 13. That's okay. If you whatever you don't get, you'll get eventually, or you can ask questions. I knew, please don't laugh at me because I do lose my thoughts often. I had it, it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't say it. It's there and I can't grab it. Why would you do this to me, brain? Why fail me now? It's right on the tip. Let me sip some water for a second. It'll come to me. The other thing that a woman should be producing in her relationship is life. Not talking about children. What am I talking about? On the mental, emotional, and physical level, it is a woman's job to give birth to that which a man puts into her. On a physical level, he places the spark of life into her womb via his sperm. And with that spark of life, she is to cultivate, gestate, and then birth a child. The cultivation and gestation is an abstract concept. It happens in darkness until she gives birth to a physical, living, breathing human being. He places the spark of life into her mind, i.e., his mission. The gestational period between the placing of his mission in her mind and her production for the outcome of that mission may vary. But there should be a viable, concrete outcome after he has placed the spark of life into her mind. He places the spark of light and love in her emotions or her vessel. From that, she reflects that light not only onto him, but onto his physical children and to the physical output of the mental life and emotional life. I might have lost you, but if you listen on playback, you'll get it eventually. So on all levels, you should be giving birth to that which he hands you. Men are kinetic energy, and women are potential energy. Hence, why the sperm can locomote and the eggs do not. The egg is simply pushed. It has no ability to move on its own. Joe from DC, thank you, said please publish the list. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work on that. Spook Freeman, thank you, said exactly. Reflective moon energy 101. The egg is pushed from the ovary into the fallopian tube. While within the fallopian tube, it is pushed through the musculature into the womb where it waits. It waits. Now, some people say the egg is dead. This is inaccurate. We don't carry dead cells, but we do carry inert cells. The ovum is inert. It is not dead. It's alive. It is the male sperm that has the ability of locomotion. That's why they call them swimmers. It's the sperm that makes its way into the environment of the womb, which is actually dangerous for it. For a little sperm, this is a arduous journey through the womb to the egg. Once it makes contact with the egg, it is the sperm that works to penetrate it. The egg has no door. It has no opening. The sperm has to make its way into the egg. It has to push into it, has to force it open, where it then fertilizes it, and hopefully a child, a nice healthy child, can be born from it within 9 months' time. Men, even on a cellular level, are kinetic. And women, even on a cellular level, are inert. So we have to understand that even on a cellular level, women do not move until men push them. Even on a cellular level, the purpose of women is men, because we don't do much until they come around. So all of this female empowerment, and I do what I want to do, understand that you are doing only what a society built by men have allowed you to do. I'll repeat that. All of that empowerment that you think you have is only available to you due to an environment that men created that allows you to do this. Because I don't remember any time in history where women built a working, lasting civilization in the absence of men. Okay. So with that, I'm going to make my way out of here. I'd like for everyone to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This live stream has been brought to you by our sponsor, A-Game. So I want everyone to do themselves a favor, go into the description, click the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com, get yourself a 10% discount using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.